Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Freaky Friday. Another week in the books. Gosh, I feel like the weeks are just piling on. This is the 13th episode of Freaky Friday. So that means we've been coming live at least 3 months now, over 3 months, every single Friday. So hopefully you guys are getting value from these videos and this channel. If you are, before we even get started today, we got a lot of stuff we want to discuss on lead generation. What does a good lead actually look like? But before we even go there, if you guys aren't already subscribed to the channel, just want to encourage you to do so. We want to continue to provide even more value here in both short form and long form. Hopefully you guys are able to take this information, implement it in your business, start making money. But then most importantly, like if you're not subscribed, potentially do that. Please like this video, share it with one person. And if you're not in the Facebook group, been encouraging a lot of folks, been doing a lot of one-on-one calls with investors. If you're not in the real estate circle, you should be, because that's where deals are happening. And that's where we're doing our creative deal structuring. So please join if you're not already. So thank you so much for being here. As always, I guess not always, but this week he is here. Joined by Terry. What's up, dude?
Not having
should I say Big T?
What's up, everybody? I'm not having that slander. First off, I missed like 1 out of freaking 10. Oh, he's here finally.
I mean, am I wrong?
You are wrong. You are wrong.
Thank you guys for being here. Shout out. What's up?
What's going on, guys?
Scott, what up?
What up,
Scott? Thanks for being here, brother. Al, what's up? Edwin, thanks for being here from Odessa. Man, we love Texas.
New intro. That's
Yeah.
right.
Hey,
shout out Austin.
Simon, you like the intro? Let's go.
But yeah,
hey, we got to connect, Simon. Got to hit me up after this. We got to connect. So thank you guys for being here. Austin made the intro, so shout out. Terry, what happened this week, bro?
Honestly, just another whirlwind of a week. I can't believe it's Friday already.
Yeah.
I feel like Monday was literally yesterday. A lot of stuff going on. The whiteboard, like we said last week, we're like, it was kind of a down week, right? Like we're gonna have down weeks, and we talked about it.
Yeah.
Well, this week was the opposite of a down week.
Yeah.
So just having
wasn't a down week.
No, just having a lot of stuff go on. We're getting some SIGs out. We're sending out 2 more contracts today. And it's been great, man. Honestly, just with the core, with the new feeler stuff going out, helping people out with leads, just trying to get a hold of everything. Honestly, just wanting to talk a little about leads, I think, later on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, fired up.
Fired up, as always.
Fired up.
I love it. So we're going to be talking about what a good lead actually looks like. And the reason why we're talking about this is because I think a lot of it gets lost in translation of like, it's so much different than a cash deal. This is not your typical wholesale deal anymore. That world doesn't exist anymore, right? There's I'm gonna butcher this saying, but it's always about being future forward with your business. The ones that have learned things in the past, those are the ones that will go nowhere, right? The ones that are always being able to learn new things, it's the learners that will inherit a world of the things that we can create. So at the end of the day,
I don't know about all that.
I had it in my mind perfectly, but basically what the saying goes is like, if you're not learning and adapting, you're falling behind and you're dying, right? The things that you learned yesterday, you're going to find yourself inheriting a world that you're no longer equipped to be successful in. So Terry keeps hitting my mic, and yes, so we got to introduce the rest of our team here.
Literally under.
So thank you guys. We'll be breaking this down. We are also joined by the rest of our team here on the couch. We don't have 4 guys on the couch this week.
Nope.
What's up, David? What's up?
Not much. Just a busy week as always.
Yeah. What happened this week, bro?
And it's so hard to recap because I feel like so much happens every week, and it was good. I mean, we got a lot of movement on the dispo side. No closed deals. We have a few closing scheduled at the very least, but movement's always good. Getting third-party authorization for subject twos, talking to sellers, maybe getting cussed out at, but
at lunch at Rodizio on a Friday.
It's all in a day's work, I guess.
All in a day's work. all in a day's work. That's awesome, bro. We got a lot of stuff done this week. There's so much busy work on these creative deals. I think you don't even think about that either, right? You get so
Yeah.
excited just to get a contract, and then it's like, okay, now the work begins, right? So shout out Camille for being here. Thanks for being here, Camille.
Aw.
Terry pointing is like, you better let her
Yeah.
know. I appreciate her being here.
That's right.
But obviously there's a lot of work on the back end of these deals to put them together. So couldn't do that without you, man. So great
Oh,
work.
he's
Yeah.
been killing it.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it's just crazy how much traction
One
we're
man band
getting.
in it.
Honestly,
Honestly,
it is
yeah.
crazy. And when we scale this thing, he's gonna be.
Yeah, and we talked about that. I think what we're doing here is like we're pioneering in a lot of different ways that there's no other company doing what we do or what we're trying to do at scale.
For sure.
So we're learning a lot of stuff as we go.
For sure.
So are you guys grateful to be here as you're watching live? Are you grateful to be watching this journey as we're pioneering into there is no other real estate investing company doing what we're doing and what we're teaching you guys to do at scale, right? So we're pioneering. Hopefully we're going to be getting some arrows in our back as we learn, but at the same time, hopefully from our lessons, we're going to be able to impart that to you guys and you won't have to do the same. So most of those arrows go in David's back.
We
They
did that for
do.
you.
So good job.
Yeah, it's so good. So good.
He's like the one meme of him sheltering us all.
All right.
Yeah, that meme.
Yeah.
Let's go.
David.
And then we got Mike. What's up, Mike?
What's up? What's up? Another
Dude,
week
how
in the
was-
books.
How was your week, man?
I would agree with Terry. It honestly still feels like Monday. Went by quick.
He did.
Yeah.
It's just
It
every
did.
day you got to fine tune things. So it's like
Yeah.
another day,
Dude,
Another
we're
day?
having a
another
blast.
day.
Another day.
It's like Groundhog Day, but new problems, I guess. You like,
Exactly.
I feel like as soon as I leave, I'm coming right back and I'm opening that door right there. And it's like, oh, hey, good
Mhm.
morning, everybody.
Exactly.
Leave 10 minutes later. Hey, good morning, everybody. You know,
For sure.
making it happen.
It's always fun though.
Yeah,
It is fun.
it is fun, man.
Some people find doing the repetitive things boring, but
Yeah.
with this team,
Nothing's
It's
mundane.
not, dude.
nothing's
No,
mundane.
it's much better than running outfield poles or whatever
Oh,
it's called
God,
in
that
baseball.
thing.
So, yeah. And then we're joined by the big dog himself, the big dog. What up, Joe?
What's good?
Hey, I will say, first off, Austin, can you do some manual focus on this so we're not blurry over here to these guys? But I will
Try to
say,
make it
Joe,
look
you
pretty.
you've come a long way, man. I be walking out on the floor nowadays, and like, man, just the growth in your calls are crazy.
Thank you.
Like you're just like hanging out. Like, are you just like laying on the floor?
We're here
Like,
watching his watch one
just
time.
chilling, having these conversations, dude. You've been doing amazing. So how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's kind of shown in my calls. I feel very confident talking to people. I'm loving it. I love talking to new agents. I feel like I'm able to find a lot of stuff out of, stuff we would have just thrown away. So
Mm-hmm.
conversations have been great. Some calls a little bit longer than I would like them to be, but
Yeah.
we've been having some good stuff. So it's been good.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
you know you're having good calls when you got to go. All right, I got to run.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So people like talking to me. I don't know.
I don't
like
know.
talking about 'em.
We've had dude, that looks so much better. There we go. We've had a lot of conversations this week, and I think one thing we had to do is middle of the week had to stop and go back and coach the VAs a little bit.
Yep.
Based on the lead gen, because look, it's fun to have a lot of leads. Who here watching? Like, how many of you guys are generating a ton of leads right now from like VAs or
Everybody
yourself?
are.
If you're watching and you're doing what we're doing, you should be generating a ton of leads. How many of you guys are generating a ton of leads? Well, the challenge is, as you generate a bunch of leads, it's always going back and refining the process, right? It's fun to have a lot of people to talk to, and it's fun to be like, oh my gosh, we got so many people. But at the same time, it's like we don't want to be wasting our time with people who just aren't willing to even have a discussion with us, right? Sometimes you're calling these agents and it's like, oh, they did not set you guys up properly for this call,
right.
right? The setup is just as important as the spike.
And it kind of
A
takes you a
wise man
little
says.
wind out your sails.
Yeah.
Plus, it takes your time away because, as Mike was saying earlier, before they even, I like to tell them before they even call this people, I want them to look up the property, kind of get their head wrapped around what's going on.
Yeah.
He prop streams some stuff, see if it, it has
Mhm.
or just kind of get more information before they talk to these people.
Mm-hmm.
So when they do that, all that,
And then you go
5
talk
minutes,
to them.
and then you talk to them, and they're like, "Wait, who? What? Nah, no. I only
Right.
want cash." Blah blah blah. You're like, "Well, this really wasn't a lead."
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
You know,
So how many conversations are we having a day?
Like us individually, we're having 40 plus conversations a day.
Let's go, dude.
Yeah.
That's
honestly,
crazy.
cranking.
Crazy.
Because not
Cranking.
that long ago, you guys were sitting around like 10 or 11, right? And it would
Mhm.
take you a week to put in the work that you're currently doing in a day.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
that's a big difference.
Yeah, it's been insane. And you would think like, oh my gosh, 40 conversations a day. How are you even maintaining with the lead flow and stuff? But the lead flow is just as much. We're having how many on average? Probably, I don't want to brag, but we're having like 85 leads come in from our VAs. So
Let's go.
that's
Wild.
insane. So it's been awesome.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So with that, you guys are having a lot of conversations. First off, Juan, let me address this. We've been double booked again. So let me text you once we get off this live. You and Simon both. So super excited to get connected with you. Let's go. And if you guys are wanting to hop on a call with me, we've been doing strategy calls for the past 2 weeks. So if you want to do a strategy call with me to discuss the Future Proof program, I can drop my Calendly link in here as well. So, anyways, back to the matter here at hand with these sellers or these
Leads.
agents. You're talking to a lot of people previously, like earlier this week, that you can't even have a conversation with. So what the heck makes a good lead in your guys' opinion? I'll get the panel's opinion before we come back.
They first have to say yes to creative terms, in my opinion.
Mhm.
I just because what I did with Tara this week, I went back through a lot of conversations that our VAs were having,
Mhm.
and the word creative wasn't mentioned
Ooh.
at all in the script, in the text conversation.
But it is in the script.
Exactly.
So
We had to.
they were just trying to push leads from texting
Mhm.
without actually
Mhm.
getting those people on the
Correct.
phone.
And I do understand that it's a lot especially with agents. They do not answer the phones. So texting is
It's probably
It's
a
way
good
to go.
route to
It's the way to
get
go.
them to. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we don't mind that. It's just if they go by the script,
Mhm.
creative terms is in the script.
Is the main part of the script.
Yes.
Yes.
And so I was seeing that a lot of leads are getting pushed through when they were just saying, "Do you have any cash offers?" And obviously, or when we say full list price with the cash offer, every
Right.
agent's going to say yes.
That's what I had to tell them to steer away from
Mhm.
cash. Never mentioning at all in your
Because of
script.
course they're like, hell yeah, send me a
Mhm.
cash offer, player.
Right.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
What's up, Playboy? Thank you.
Yeah,
I've been
so-
waiting on this.
When you get on these calls, you have to backtrack, and honestly, it doesn't matter what you say after that.
Right.
They're not listening.
Right. The tee up matters. And whenever you get on the phone with someone who's expecting a full price cash offer and you be like, yes, terms, they're gonna feel like they were lied to.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's super frustrating.
Yeah.
So that's just one piece. Like number one, yes, they do need to say they are interested in hearing out terms. Right.
Gotta be.
That's the first part.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, what else do you think?
Yeah, I mean they got to understand that we're not going to come in and just, send them that full price offer. I mean, there's obviously the agent's got to want to talk to us, so I know that if my VORs have spoken on the phone with that agent and they had like a 5-10 minute conversation, I know it's going to be better because I don't really want an agent to text me back and be like, "Hey, just text me," or just email me and stuff like that. So, yeah,
We want to
just
connect with.
yeah,
them, right?
we want to be able to make that connection, and just because we're not like we're not pushing towards that address, we want that relationship. So like a part of that is talking to them on the phone. So yeah, I'm trying to think
Honestly,
of
I
other
definitely think
things.
the biggest thing is the creative terms
Yeah.
thing.
Hmm.
That we can paint, like we just need a circle from the VAs, right? And the creative terms is your circle. And then you go in and fill out what those creative terms need to be.
Yeah,
You can do all kind of stuff with that.
absolutely.
As long as they're kind of at least open minded, like, okay, so this is not going to be a traditional, or they're not even that, just not going to be your normal cash deal. Give me $300,000 for my $310,000 house. Move on, whatever. This is going to be different. Okay, well, let's hear what different is, and that's where I think you guys can really step in and succeed,
Yeah.
and have been succeeding. So.
100%. And then even kind of another thing too, like once the big part of my call and our calls of talking to these agents is like figuring out is there a mortgage, what they own it free and clear, what's the seller situation, are they was this a rental property for them? Are they still living in the home? Like,
So it sounds to me it's just basically someone willing to have a conversation
yeah,
and talk to you guys.
yes.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love it. David, do you have anything you would add that you feel like makes it a good lead from the dispo perspective?
Oh, from the dispo perspective.
Yes, because that's the part I really want to hit on.
For me, I mean, I think
Entry fee. How to say it?
Entry fee. over-
Entry fee.
Yeah, I think for a good lead, also depends on like who's bringing the good lead, right? And so our VORs are trained one way, right? But if we have other people that's wanting to partner with us, the more information, the better, right? So just because they're interested in creative doesn't always mean it's going to work out. Like, what do they want for a down payment? What's the balloon terms like? What is just more information in general? Because sometimes people will be like, oh, they're open to creative. They want 50% down, balloon payment in 2 years.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, honestly,
Ooh, I just thought about something.
can't do anything with that, right? Or maybe their monthly payments they want higher than the rent rate. It's like, okay, well, I also can't do anything with that because I can't negatively sell a property to somebody to negatively cash flow every
Right.
month. So yeah, what's up, Matt?
I love it. I just got us thought of something. It needs to be. We need to create something, David. So I just got a new project for you.
Okay.
So David gets most of the projects, and you may need to readjust the focus. So what I'm thinking, I think this would be really cool, and for everybody watching too, this would be like some cool resource we can hand out. But it needs to be the DLQI.
Am
Okay,
I supposed to know what that is?
and I'm going to explain.
Okay.
And I'm gonna explain.
It's the DLQI. Sounds cooler when it's an acronym. It needs to be
What are you, Drake?
David's
That'll work.
lead quality index. Okay.
Okay.
And this is how we're going to judge our VAs. This is how we're going to judge our sales team. Because what is a lead? In the most layman term. Everybody watching, put it in the chat right now. We're watching on Facebook or YouTube. What is a lead to you? What is a good lead? Put it in the chat. What do you think is a good lead? Want to hear from you guys. Juan, I will definitely address this question. I promise you. What do you guys think is a good lead? We got David's perspective. We got Mike's perspective. We got Joe's perspective. What do you guys right now in the chat? What do you think is a good lead? Want to hear from you. Terry, what do you think is a good lead?
Well, it's a little different for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
For them, they're kind of trying to set the conversation up for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess just for things that can kind of get past to me, it's now time to kind of get in the nitty gritty of what this looks like. What this process maybe look like. It's a sub 2 hybrid wrap, whatever. I can go into detail a little bit about that.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know kind of the pros and cons of what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know little numbers wise, but don't, and then we can start maybe playing ball if they're really interested after that. But I think for an initial lead that I like to see, I want them to already have kind of an understanding on, okay, this is definitely creative,
Yep.
whether it be a sub 2 or seller financing or whatever. They don't need to be like some crazy thing like David was saying where they want half the price now and then
Yeah.
because that's not a deal. And I think that's for another time. We can maybe kind of break down what is a deal, what isn't a deal, and how they need
A
to
lead
structure
is different than a deal.
Right.
Let me make that clear.
For sure. But I think a really good lead is for them to really want to be, I think, open-minded about ready to have that conversation. Right. A lead where I hop on the phone and go, yeah, how you doing? I'm Terrence from Main Place, blah, blah, blah. They go, what? Yeah. Okay. What's your number? That's not really a lead. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, you're not willing to really have that connection and bond to make this thing kind of work.
100%. I agree. So Scott says, so number one, all of those things, very true. We need that information to help you in your conversation. Scott says someone who's willing to consider selling on terms. Okay. So we're going to need to have a point scale, David, a grading scale. And I'll go here in a second. Juan says a lead is someone who wants to sell. Warm lead is wants to sell in a few months. Hot lead, they need to sell right now. Need to sell differs from warm, I see. Need is the main one, right? We want to work with people who need to sell. And the great thing about going on market is you already have
They
people.
all need to sell.
They already raised their hand. You don't need to go. You don't need to search for them. So for me, in my opinion, a lead is nothing more than information that can be leveraged to create a transaction, right? The more information that we have, the more that we can leverage in the next conversation, right? So if we're looking at lead by lead from VA to VA, how do we know like who has the better leads? Well, if someone puts in, here's the address, here's the agent's name and terms, yes, give them a call. That's a pretty like in my opinion, that's like garbage. Like that's an F, right? I will push it through as a lead. We'll call them, but I feel like you could have done a lot better. We could have had a deeper conversation on the first call, right? Because wouldn't it be helpful if the information that was passed to you guys was like, yes, they're okay with terms, they're needing to move because X, Y, and Z, and they have another property they already have under contract, right? That's helpful for when you guys make your phone call. So just because like yes, both of them technically want to sell on terms, so yes, both of them basically are leads. One is just a little bit better than the other, right? So the DLQI would be a way that we can grade this based on the quality of information. The quality of the input obviously helps for the quality of the output. It's
Definitely.
simple engineering, David. Right?
Thank you for explaining engineering to
me. So, what do you guys think about that? Do you guys agree? Joe, do you agree? Mike, do you agree?
More information, definitely the better.
Yeah,
For sure.
because it is different. It is very different based on the deal itself, right? Because we will consider a lead someone who told us no, right? Because the lead is the relationship, it's the person, not necessarily the property.
Yeah.
Right. But if I have more information on the front end, it's only going to help me cipher through and get the most out of that next conversation. And then likewise, when you guys push a lead to Terry, how much easier is it for you? Either you're working with our team or a JV partner.
Mm-hmm.
We had JV partners pushing us addresses and phone numbers with no other information.
That's not a lead.
That's not a lead, right?
That's somebody trying to sell their house. I can go to MLS and find that out, or
Right.
Zillow, or whatever, Batch.
Yes.
That's not a lead. We need some crucial information. Like, is it owned free and clear? Does it have a mortgage? How
Just
much
like
is
Simon
on the
says,
mortgage?
a lead is when the agent sellers open to creative financing. Then you can get the PITI, HOA fee, solar, blah, blah, blah. After that, I would pass it to Terry.
Yeah.
Dang, Simon's been trained.
We've been working together a little bit. That's why.
Hey, Simon's been trained.
Honestly,
Let's go,
but
Simon.
honestly, after I work with somebody and I let them know off the rip, we kind of let them know what we need.
Yeah.
Then it completely changes the ballgame. They're like, oh, okay, this makes a whole lot more sense.
Yeah.
And everything. And then I explain the reasons why, and this having JV partners on the calls and going over numbers and the reasons why we can only be at 8% on this deal, or the reasons why maybe we can go to 10% because it's a really good Airbnb and stuff, different stuff like that.
Let's go.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, it's gonna be that way for sure off the first couple.
Yeah.
It's craziest part,
don't
just
let
like
it-
for like,
yeah.
let's just say I work with Andrew. My first ever lead with Andrew, he's already had 3 conversations with the agent. He's already had a conversation with the clients. He already know all the numbers. I knew he filled me in exactly where we needed to be. And I had my first call with him ever was on a 3-way call with him, the agents, and 3 family members. And 5 minutes before I jumped in, he goes, okay, this is where we're at. But this one, they need to sell it, blah, blah, blah. They've been sitting in this property for 78 days. They don't want to rent it, da-da-da. Like, that is an insane lead.
Yeah, that's
like,
a really good
that's
lead.
so much information.
Right.
That's why we had such a great call.
That's an A+.
Yeah, that's an A+, right?
the
And I immediately got to
DLQI.
hop in and stuff. So that's what, honestly,
It's an A+.
and honestly, for some reason, I mean, props to Andrew. He was already there. Not everybody's going to be there off the rip, and
Right.
that's okay.
You're going to have some Fs.
Right. But then the whole goal is to continue to improve.
Right.
To get better.
So
at
how
it.
can you improve? DLQI. We have a grading scale.
There you go.
I don't like how this is named after me.
It's gonna be you're gonna be responsible for this. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but
We don't need to add anything to that man's plate.
Yeah, I
He's
don't
got
know
plenty.
how. I just say the what, and I
It
guarantee
needs to get done.
the DLQI will pop up somewhere around Sunday at 11 p.m. in my
That's
inbox.
so true.
Prime
Prime time.
He'll have it all ready to go by Sunday night.
Yeah.
So I don't know. For me, like we work with a lot of agents and investors right now. So shout out to all of our agents that are watching. Thank you guys. And investors, thank you guys. Who want to do creative deals with us. And then a lot of folks are like joining the Future Proof community and like, well, Matt, I'm so afraid. Like, how do I know if I get a good deal? Like, how do I know? Like, I want to be able to sell this thing and make money on it. Absolutely. Well, that goes into The quality input that you put in, the more information you gather, gives you more ammunition to do what you need to do on your negotiations, gives you more ammunition to easily get through. Like if you didn't know anything about an agent, how many calls will it take? It would have took with Andrew, it would have took you to have those 3 calls
Oh
to
yeah,
get all that
for
information.
sure.
Right. And the reality is like, man,
And I mean, we're partners, right?
Right.
So he can
Yes.
use us, main place, whatever.
Yeah.
When we JV on something together, we are
yeah, if we're
we are
working
partners
together, guys, we're partners.
So
Use
you
our
can
website.
leverage us as much as possible. Leverage
David made
me,
that.
everybody. And like I said, the more if you are new to this thing and you don't know, man,
Yeah.
this sounds kind of like a pretty cool deal, right? But I don't know exactly what I would do with it, or I don't know the numbers.
Right.
Just reach out, and
Yeah.
then
We won't
all
shoot-
it
we won't
takes is a
shoot you
couple
down,
times.
guys.
No, and all it takes is a couple times to be like, I see. That's where they're gonna need to be. That's where I need to be to ever move this
Yeah.
deal. Whether it be with us or anybody else, I know kind of what people's buy boxes are and where I need to be on stuff.
I can just, but in a very broad term, like not all terms are great, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Like when somebody wants, and to be honest with you guys, if they want any more than 10% down, you very well pretty much do not have a deal, right?
Unless you're moving in that house yourself.
Unless you're moving into it and you're living in it, if it's any more than 10% down, so the purchase price is $350K and it's more than $35,000 down, you want it to be less than 35 down. The more money you have to put down,
25.
the less that deal is attractive. Like I almost want to break even on the cash flow and have way less money down. Like
The
so-
down is where it's going to cause a lot of
Mhm.
friction with
Yeah.
moving.
So some quick tools you guys can use when you're having conversations. You need to know what. So okay, so they went that. So what ends up making a good deal? We just said the entry fee, right? And the entry fee, guys, is not just your seller's down payment. It's the seller's down payment plus the money we have to pay the agent plus closing costs plus any sort of fees that we have to pay you or our assignment. Like everything needs to be ideally less than 10%. Right.
The more hands that touch it, the more hands got to get paid on it.
Right. 100%. So that's the beginning of it all. Right. So again, if my purchase price is 300, I know 10% of that's 30. So that means I should probably be giving my seller 20 grand. Right. Or even less. And then I have to pay the agent probably about $1,500. No, wait, $4,500.
Yep, 45.
Okay. And then that means I could probably make about $4 to $5 grand on my assignment if you're going to sell it to someone else.
Mhm.
Right. And that puts you all in at 10%.
Mhm.
So if you're trying to structure those deals, the entry fee matters. The lower, if you get a 0 down deal, you can assign that thing for $20, $25, $30,000. Those are big deals.
And I know, and in the beginning, for a lot of
Mhm.
people, they're like, "Man, what do I do with this thing? How do I even assign it?"
Right.
So that's when they come to people like us or whoever else is in the industry.
Yeah.
And for the first 5 or 10, say it took. You said how many was your first?
Probably like 60 some odd. 60. I think it was like 62.
So he assigned his first 60 something deals. So that means it clearly ate in his cut. But what it did was it helped them understand.
Well,
the
my goal was
process.
to build a badass acquisition business. So I just kept finding more deals
Right.
because that's the only way I could control my income.
Is you going to get
Yeah,
them.
I couldn't be like trying to baby one deal and then something happened and me be like, well, damn, I guess I'm not paying my bills this month.
Right.
No, I'm like, if I just shove more deals in at the top, I'm going to get paid something,
Mhm.
So
For sure.
that's the way I looked at it. So again, guys, 2 pieces to this puzzle. And when you're gathering information from sellers on what makes a good lead versus what makes a good deal, we already talked about what makes a good lead is just more information that you can leverage in your future conversations. Now, what we do and when we end up putting our deals together is, yes, the entry fee matters. It matters a lot. So just because your seller is like, yeah, I'm good with terms, 20% down, 5% interest. No, thank you. Right? Not because that's terrible terms. Maybe that's not if you're living in it or if you're the one buying it. But it's
I mean, if
bad
you're the
for-
rat buyer, then
yeah,
that's
hey,
great
man.
terms.
Right.
I mean,
but that's not us.
that's not us. We're investors, right? We're trying to
right. Or 50% down or crazy terms. That just because they're open to terms doesn't mean it's a good deal. You need your entry fee to be ideally less than 10%.
Right.
Okay. Now that's one piece. Now the second piece is what information should you be gathering to make it an easier deal for Terry or for yourself whenever you're negotiating your deals? It's very simple. We need to know outside of the entry fee, what kind of debt is in place, right? So what kind of loan? Is it VA, conventional, FHA? What is that? Second piece, how much are they paying monthly on everything that's on the monthly? Do they have a mortgage? Do they have a second mortgage? Do they have liens they're paying on? Is there solar? anything they're paying monthly to live in the stinking house. That includes HOA, all that good stuff. What is that information? I promise you, if you have someone willing to give you that information, you're not gonna have a problem like having the further conversations, right?
Right.
The motivated agents give you that stuff, right? So ideally, you're able to you keep your entry fee low
Mhm.
and you gather as much information as you possibly can on your monthly payment. Okay. Because if I know what it costs this property, like to own this property monthly for what's already in place, can I do a long-term rental on it? Right. So if I'm buying this house for 300K and my monthly payment is 1650 and I know I can rent it out for 2100, okay, that's a good place to start. Right.
So now I already kind of know exactly what maybe we would even try to do.
Right.
Or
Exactly.
whoever else would,
Right.
would need the deal
Yep.
to do with the deal.
And
So
if you guys are like throwing out blind offers, or if you're just like trying to have numbers as a starting point, an easy
solar
place to
panel
go.
needs. Sorry.
Yeah, solar panel.
Because that eats into what you're in the deal monthly.
Right.
Eats into your cash flow.
Or if you assign it to someone, they got to get qualified for it. Right. If there's, Tesla has solar panels on it, in order to transfer those solar panels, person who's buying the house has got to get qualified for it. So that matters.
Yep.
And a good place, like if you're just trying to start with like, what can I pay monthly? It's a seller finance deal. Let's just say that $300,000 house, there is no mortgage. So they would be financing you the whole deal, right? A good place to start is figuring out what it rents for and divide that in half and start there. Saying, hey, I can give you a down
Unless you're in
payment.
Texas.
Yeah.
Because taxes is crazy in
Yeah,
Texas.
taxes are.
So you got to go even deeper.
Yeah, you got to go even deeper. Depending on the property and the rent rates. So,
Right.
yes.
But a good start is doing that.
Yeah, it's a good starting point. But we normally start with about 5% down and then go also to about half of what it would rent for. And that's a good place to start. So that is what a good lead is. I know that's not always the case. And we've been doing a lot of coaching on this because folks are wanting to come through in JV. But I think most importantly for you guys, when you're doing your own lead gen, how do you know when you actually have a good lead on the line? Right?
Because I mean, it's like when I work with some new JV guys, and you can kind of feel like, oh, I got a lead, fired up, and I'm fired up to do it, and then it's like, man, yeah, so this isn't the best, probably not gonna be a deal, but this is the reasons why. Just don't let it take the wind out your sails. Like I said, just keep going, and then be like, oh, okay, that makes sense, and then go find that real good lead, and then let's close this thing up.
Let's close it up. We got a question here from Scott. I think it'd be great for these guys to answer. So let's pan the camera over there. So, team, Scott says, how do you figure out when an agent is BSing you and saying their client needs all their equity now versus telling you their real needs? Feel free to go on this one. Yeah, you talk to an agent like, yeah, sorry, my client won't do this. They need all their money now.
Yeah. Are they buying their next home in cash? Because that would probably be one of the only reasons that they would need all their equity right now. Oh, they're looking to purchase another home. Okay, that's totally fine.
Sizzle.
They can still purchase another home even if they sell their home to us subject to. Yeah, I would kind of
typically when they go buy another house or they need all this equity, so number one, are they like Scrooge McDuck, right? Or they need all this cash and go swimming in it? Or like, what's the situation? Get a bunch of ones. Like, what are y'all doing with all this money? Number two is, even though they go conventional on the next house, it's 20%, right? Or if they go FHA, it's 3 to 5. So how much do they really need to buy? Like, what's their goals? I'm just wondering, because there might be something we could structure here that could be a win-win for both.
And then, like I was telling you guys, hey, your clients have $80,000 worth of equity, right? If they sold it for your list price, you've done listed it for 120 days at that list price. So let's be honest. Let's have an honest conversation. After they pay the buyer's agent fees, your fees, the closing cost, that $90,000 worth of equity, in reality, is about $50,000 worth of equity. So doesn't $25,000 now make a hell of a lot more sense? And then carrying over $65,000 or whatever that may be over an extended amount of time, instead of just walking away with just $50,000.
Yeah. Because a lot of agents, they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And a confused mind is what? Always going to say no.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
So when that's the case.
All right. Matt's a
and then Morpheus says,
Matt's a clown, dude. He just reads books and listens to ebooks and stuff, and he does this stuff all the time around the office.
Shout out to someone we know very well. But anyways,
I'm just saying, in
Yeah.
general.
for sure. So Scott, great
You're a clown.
question.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay, I'm a clown.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I have a clown card. But but for real, Scott, like hopefully that helps because you will get people who say this, like they want to like step in the shoes of their client, like they're protecting them and be like, no, they would never go for this. And the great thing is, Scott, you don't have to convince them, right? You can be like, look, hey, there may be something we could structure. The crazy thing is a lot of clients that end up working with us have felt the same way, right?
Oh,
They
for sure.
they have felt like they needed all of that cash up front. And the interesting thing is what they have found when going through this process and maybe spending 60, 90, 120, 150 days on market, they're way more perceptive later on down the line and maybe trying to figure something out where they are able to accomplish their goals, whether that be buying a new house, taking money and, putting into a trust fund for their kids or something, or like even a payment plan. Maybe we've even been working with older folks who are like, why would I ever carry? But they're 60 years old and they would like to see that monthly income to pay for their 55-year-old, their 55 plus community home and other living expenses. So like end of the day, we're just trying to make a win-win here. So if it's not right now, maybe in the future we can have a further conversation. Circle back around 30, 60, 90 days. Funny thing is that most of them, a lot of them, they come back. And then we're like,
but even when they're like, man, so then your first thing I hear Joe say a lot is, okay, we get it. They might own all their equity, whatever.
we get it.
Maybe
I bet they do.
Maybe there's another deal.
Whatever.
Where this might structure. Let's not focus on this deal. Maybe if we're not a good fit for this deal, I'm sure a deal. Or maybe you might come across one that we would definitely be a good fit for. And that's when they go, oh, okay.
And then maybe you can even start talking about a separate property that's a separate situation that would apply to this listing.
Tell them a story.
But like all of a sudden you're not like, I want to buy this listing. And they're like, no, it won't work. So great. Let me go talk about another house that you don't have right now. Maybe you'll have in the future. And let me tell a story about a house that we've solved with a similar problem. Right. That's just like the one that they have currently listed. And they can connect their own dots and see like, oh, okay, I see. Well, that's wild because that would actually work for my house that I currently have listed. But it's way less confrontational when you pull it back like that. So that's sales 101, baby. That's communication training right there. Juan says, do you tell a seller agent, would you accept terms or just email them a term offer? So our experience, let's pan it back over here. How do we do when we're sending out a bunch of offers?
If they just right off the bat just say send me an offer, no.
Mike wasn't here for the craziness though.
Okay, but that's the truth. But go ahead, Mike.
Craziness.
Well,
we'll have 2,500 offers in a month. It's blind. So.
But Mike, go ahead.
Go ahead.
And we'll have Big Dog talk about it too.
Ooh, usually when an agent like right off the bat says just send me an offer, I kind of pull back a little bit and say, I don't want to waste you and your client's time or even our team's time underwriting. I want to make sure we're a good fit for each other. Usually after that, they kind of open up a little bit for a conversation. And then that's when you kind of pitch them terms and all that. And even then, before they say, yeah, there's probably something we could work out here, say like no equity, even like something like that, we still need more information, like the PITI, taxes, insurance, all that good stuff. So we actually send that email template. I think we kind of mentioned that last week, where that's been game changer for us, where they got to go do that little bit of homework, but they go work on those set of terms, then we could send that LOI out.
Yes, 100%.
You don't want to be wasting your time sending out offer after offer after offer.
Yeah, so like we wouldn't go. Yeah, we wouldn't go and be like, "Hey, is this listing still available?" Okay, great. I'm gonna send you an email.
No,
or like we wouldn't trust. We've tried it. Joe, how did it go? Whenever we sent out a bunch of
many angry people,
were there? I didn't.
Yes.
Yeah, it was kind of insane.
Well, first off, guys, one thing you need to take note of: our real estate business is a big science project all the time. We're always testing stuff.
Always trying to find out what's going to work best.
We're trying to get our edge. We're trying to gain an edge. So what we're talking about here is what we have come to the conclusion of after testing.
Yeah.
So we did spend about a month testing. Joe, how did that go?
Yeah, it was kind of It was rough. I mean, we were sending out blind offers similar to what Matt was saying. Like if you have a straight seller finance offer, we're cutting that rental rate, 5% down payment. We're sending it to a ton of people, and agents like either we're just sending them back signed and not even really understanding what we were offering.
Confused.
Yeah, it was an experience.
We're like, oh wow, they just signed it and didn't even let us know.
It was
Mhm.
chaos.
yeah,
And then we go talk to the agent and they'd be like, wait, what?
yeah.
This isn't a full price cash offer?
Yeah.
Like, did you read it?
Mhm.
There's like 3-4 pages there explaining it's not a full cash offer.
Yeah.
We sent about 2,500 out, which netted us
2 deals.
2 deals.
Not scalable.
Not scalable, because we had to put all of our efforts into having. Literally, we had the
People draft
whole
letter of intents.
VAs. Like I felt like it was Santa's workshop. We had like the whole assembly line thing going between Canva, information, finding the stuff, getting the offers ready, sending it out, got the Santa's card, whatever. We had the whole thing going, and didn't really net us the return we want after a full month worth of work. So we shut that down, and we're like, okay, we're going back to conversations and tweak the conversations to the current model we have. And do you think it's better?
100%. Because when we're just blasting out those offers, we're losing pretty much the thing we're striving for, and that's relationship with agents. When we're just sending out blind offers, we're either getting blocks, getting sent to spam, or not even being able to talk to these agents. And the building that relationship model has like tenfolded what we were doing before.
That
So
was the start of us, like the very beginning of agent outreach and stuff. We're like, let's try this out a little bit. And then we realized it's not the deal, it's the agent.
Right. Right.
And that's why we had kind of had to
You know
all
what
roll
we
with
should
it.
do? We should just become gurus and just not do the business and just talk about
Gurus!
Send out offers. It works. Just send out a bunch of offers. We're gonna send out 5,000 offers today, and we're gonna. I won't even go there. Anyways, the stuff we talk about here, guys, is stuff that's actually we actually
Implemented.
do and implementable, and stuff that you can scale in, and stuff that you can take action on right now and start making money on. So we test and we learn from those tests. So the real scientific method. Shout out David, engineer. He knows all about it. Again, the DLQI coming soon. It's going to be great.
Patent pending.
Patent pending. So old school, tried and tested. Got a question. I tapped Terry on the shoulder because that's what he is to me. He's old school, tried and tested.
I'm 2 years older than you.
You're an old man. Dude, I love this question because this is right transitioning into what I want to talk about next. After you get the contract with the seller, what's the process? Do you send it to constant close? So here's the deal. Every deal is different, right? Not every deal do we just go straight up. Like it depends on the contract, right?
For sure.
Does it look different if we're going to assign it
For sure.
versus if we're going to wrap
Keep
it?
it, yeah.
Like what's the process, David? Like 10,000 foot overview. Not in the weeds.
Yeah, so we just underwrite it and see what's the best exit strategy. And we kind of have to see, depending on that exit strategy, our capital as well, whether if it's something like we want to keep in house or something that we want to pass along to somebody else. Then that's it. Then we just market it in different ways. We have used constant close, but we don't always use constant close. Sorry, I don't know what else to say from that.
Yeah, no, we're always constantly trying to close. And sometimes sorry, I got all the dad jokes. But sometimes like it depends on the transaction, to be honest with you. It depends on the state, the type of deal, the type of debt that's in
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
So if we're
The
wrapping
exit
it,
for
it's gonna
sure.
look different. So I would say to this end, once you get the contract with the seller, that's when the work really begins. But it's important that you keep your exit strategy in mind before you even go acquire the property, right? So before we even get a contract, we like to know what our plan A is and our plan B, because that's how we start the paperwork and the transaction, the dispo process there. So and it affects your deal structuring. So if I know that I'm going to end up wrapping a deal, I'm going to make sure that my terms on the front end is advantageous to make sure that I can make that wrap work, right? Or else we won't contract. Terry comes in the office multiple times a day asking what makes a good deal, what makes a good deal. Hey, can you run the numbers on this? Where do we need to be? You've gotten a lot better with that knowing you already know when it's a deal or not. You just come in here. Just kinda
Honestly,
start
I'm like,
throwing
Matt, it's
information.
time. We got to send these contracts out.
Right
I'm
now.
gonna choke you
It
out
was-
if you
wasn't-
don't.
It hasn't always been this way.
No, in the beginning, it was like, you're like, no.
Yeah, no, that's not a deal, Terry.
Yeah, in the beginning, I came in here pretty much every time. I think we might have got something, just like, you know,
Yeah.
you guys come to me.
And then,
In the beginning, I was like, bro,
and then
okay.
he get deflated. He walk out with his head down. But no, like,
But now I know.
yeah,
The more and more you do, the better you get at it.
yeah, I love it. But yeah, no, for sure. So I guess for this one, great question, but it really just depends on the type of transaction and the mechanics on the back end that you're trying to exit on. But reach out. We're happy to help if you have something weird that you're working on. Peyton says, "What up, Peyton? First off, what is that? What is the name of that Airbnb website you use to see potential numbers?" So
It's kind of been all right. So
for a simple fee of $10,000, I can
honestly,
share with you.
before we say the name, it's been a little funky here recently.
Yeah.
The Airbnb numbers that we've been using on this website have been really weird. So we've been having to like,
But you can pull your comps too in there, or
for
try
sure,
to.
you can try to, but it's data.rabu.
I'll put it here in the chat, guys.
And
so.
just know that that you know, it's some markets are pretty accurate. We're finding some is very off.
Yeah,
But
so when you want to do Airbnb comps, it's really hard to get a good estimate just because all these are pulling based off of how many vacant days all these properties have. But they can't tell whether if the owner blocked it out and is staying there versus like a customer or a guest is staying there, right? So that's why a lot of these numbers aren't accurate. And they also can't differentiate between different amenities. And so obviously, if you have a pool, you have a hot tub, you have all these different things, you can charge more per night,
right.
more per month. So really, yeah, Data Rabu is like a quick, easy check. Even when you do that, you can like check mark and uncheck mark certain properties. So you want to find similar comps. Another thing you can do is just go through Airbnb itself, look at all the.
I like doing that one.
Yeah.
I like going to Airbnb, finding the spot on the map, and then finding Airbnbs that are close that have like similar bedroom counts with amenities.
Yep. So it's like just copying a property, see what the ARV is. That's what you're doing with
Same thing with
Airbnb.
Airbnb.
You can look at their calendar, see how many days are booked, see what their daily rate is, and just do a calculation how much you think they're making a month.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, there's a lot of people just throwing properties up on Airbnb that mess up the data.rabu numbers.
For sure.
That's like staying in a Motel 6.
Yeah.
You know, they just like throw up their house with like nothing. It's like flower furniture,
you can sleep in
no sort of
guest bedroom in the back.
Yeah, no sort of games, no pool. Like honestly, like it's the fun that sells the Airbnb.
Oh, for sure.
Right. So like having amenities is like the biggest thing. So definitely taking time and looking at, that's why I like going straight to Airbnb and say, hey, how many bookings does this person have? How many reviews do they have?
Yep.
And what does their calendar look like
Yep.
on their actual listing? Because like obviously when you list your Airbnb for the first bit, you're gonna have to be less than everybody else just to get those reviews up. But that's a great place to start though, Peyton. So David knows he's got a sweet Airbnb over at Beach Mountain. So if you guys
Never invited us.
if you're ever
Well, that's not
traveling
fully
to
true.
North Carolina, we will be having a giveaway next week for a week stay. at Beach Mountain.
Cannot do that. Apologies. Yeah,
We're gonna be filling out that calendar for you.
it's already filled out. Thanks.
Oh, let's go! Dang. He's like, I don't need your help. Thanks. Dang.
It's prime time.
That's prime time.
It's
Yeah,
prime
there's
time
like
up there right
3
now.
free days in the
Yeah.
month.
Let's go.
Sick.
So we're gonna have the D Airbnb QA quality index. Look for that too. All right, let's see here. What's up, George? Thanks for being here. We got AJ. Dang. Boy, these VA loan entitlement is a pain in the okay. I would have have two contract deals under contract this week, but the VA entitlements hold me back. Well, AJ, here's a couple things, man. So these people are buying these properties. So you're buying the VA and they're trying to go get another VA loan. Well, you could ask them to go conventional on their next loan. I mean, you going through the whole process.
I told them
of
what
like,
that looks like.
yeah, at the end of the day, like we love buying VAs, and if they want to buy another house, it depends on the entitlement, and obviously you have to figure that part out. But
They are a pain in the butt.
yeah,
But that's why I tell
people,
people,
yeah,
the VAs are going to be a better rate, and the people are willing to keep their VA entitlement locked up in that deal.
yeah,
It's a pretty sweet deal.
there's no PMI on VA loans. There's no mortgage insurance. and the people, folks locking those things in, like we can do a mirror wrap and it can never get called due. So if I was to have a choice of like what properties would I own sub 2 and never refinance and I could sleep well at night, it would be
VAs.
VAs every single day. You start messing with FHA, you're taking on a lot of risk. You start messing with conventional, you're taking on more risk than what you would with a VA, but it's still way safer than an FHA. But a VA, like I'm substantially less risk just by doing a mirror wrap. So if you guys are thinking about getting into sub 2 or you're trying to buy your own sub 2s, I would advise. Some people may say otherwise, but I would definitely advise staying away from FHA. And ideally, if you're going to buy, try to keep them VA. Okay. Those are the best ones. Even though they can be a pain in the backside, you're going to have way more safety to keeping those long term. Because we want to add, if you want to really add these properties to your portfolio, like you want to own for 10, 15, 20, 30 years and take that loan to term. You don't want to be worried about like, oh my gosh, I have 5 properties I own that could get called due at any point in time. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
it's not a nice place to be. Air DNA is another good one. Yes, sir. Cash Cam says, how do you guys approach a seller with high interest, hard money loan? Yeah. So have we had those at all, guys?
Oh yeah.
How have we approached that up to this point? You can leave it right here.
Yeah.
Honestly, what I do, I go straight into, I think our only option here would be that refinance.
Yes.
Go out, refinance. Obviously, the terms aren't going to be very favorable for us with high interest rates, but
Yep.
I think that's our own possibility here for us to work out something.
See what those terms look like. See what the
they
interest
look
rate looks like.
See what you got to
see if it still pencils in for us to be able to even do it, right?
Yeah.
But it is an option, and like there are certain situations I have hard money. Like I said, it might be a really sweet, could be a sweet wrap, could be a really sweet Airbnb.
Mhm.
All day. So that's to that end. That's where you would go. If you find someone with hard money, get them a place where they can either go get a commercial loan or something where they can put more of like an investment style loan on the property. Finance out the hard money, take that over subject to, and then you could wrap the deal, right? Those are typically when you refinance with a commercial loan, you're going to get price out of the rental. You're not going to be able to rent it out for more, but you can take that sub 2 and just arbitrage the interest on what's on there. And typically it's a small arbitrage, right? Because your commercial loan is going to be like right now, like 7.5% interest. 8% interest. What can I go charge someone else? 9.5%, 10%.
So yeah, you're not gonna make that much.
You're not going to make that much money. So, other than just being a good human, and you could like coach them up on how this would work, like saying, "Hey, what does your debt structure look like?" And this is what Nick was drawing on the board earlier, but it would take 30 minutes to do it. But obviously, you guys getting into a community where you can put these deals together, I think is paramount. So hopping into the real estate circle or being a future proof investor, like we talk about these kind of deal structures. So you could potentially look at coaching someone up on, look, you could potentially sell your first position lien, wipe out that hard money, and the money that you were hoping to realize on the flip, you're probably not going to be able to see it all up front. You may actually have to keep some money in the deal, but you can record a second position lien at a higher interest rate and just wrap both of those to a homestead buyer. So you can coach them on either way, depending on how the debt is structured, right? It's tough to say like, here's a blanket statement. It works always. Right. It's like you could refinance, sure, try to wrap it, but the refinance may outprice even the wrap buyer. So you also need to be able to look at being like, okay, well, here's plan B. So hopping in the community, being a part of what we're doing, I think is going to give you more resources to solve these types of problems.
Yep.
And if you guys haven't got on a call with me, I'm going to put here in the chat right now is Calendly. Shout out to everybody who has.
We're doing big things over here.
Yep. Matthew Beard _
with the team.
Yep. Future proof. Hop on a
Future
call with
proof.
me. There you go. Calendly.com. There's too many T's in there. I think. Is that 2 T's or 3 T's? I don't know. Matthew Beard _ / future proof.
That's too many T's.
Okay, sorry. Well, take out a T and it should work. Peyton says, just saw your challenge coming in January. Perfect time. Could I use your team for dispo? You sure can. Hop into the community. Get on a call. Join with me. Let's make it happen. Yeah. Hey, Mariah, Maggie, post the right link for me. That'd be helpful. Thank you. I'll highlight it. So, what happened?
AJ said, "Can he come to the New Year's party?"
AJ, if you get a flight, you come to Sedona, you're more than welcome.
More than welcome to come hang out with the fam.
Yep. I think Luciano wants to come too. So shout out Luciano. We got a place up in Sedona for New Year's, so we're super
It's
stoked for
sick.
that.
9 beds, got a jacuzzi and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jacuzzi.
Jacuzzi and everything.
So you get to see me in some sweet shorts.
There we go. Kyle said the beer, bro. Hey, Kyle, are you gonna come? Are you kind of
Kyle's coming. I already told him he doesn't have a choice.
All right, Kyle, you don't have a choice.
Yeah. Sorry.
Anything you had planned? Look, brother, we're gonna see War next Saturday. We already got tickets down at the Chandler Center of the Arts.
You're just taking up that week.
That's right. That's right.
But no, it is gonna be cool. We got a pretty sweet house. We're gonna film some content out of the
Mhm.
house. The whole, the majority of the team's gonna be there. We're gonna do the first day of the $1 Million Month live from this giant Airbnb.
So if you guys are unaware, of like what's happening and how this thing goes, we're going to strive to do 50 deals in the month of January.
not strive.
We will. So we're using all of our resources we have available to us to do 50 deals in a month. Want to show you guys like what's possible. We're showcasing our model of how we're generating leads and doing deals. So the goal is to do 50 deals in 31 days for the month of January. That should net us in the neighborhood of $1 million.
Yes.
This is not $1 million of equity captured from the deals we're doing. This is $1 million of revenue generated. Okay. So
It's
if
real.
you guys want to be a part of that, it will be exclusively for future-proof investors because we're already coaching them on the business model. So if you guys want to watch it, number one, you need to be in the Facebook group, the Real Estate Circle. I think we're probably going to do the first 3 or 4 days in there.
And then we're going to take it over.
But if you guys want to watch the entire month, you have to be in the coaching program. So please, if you haven't, look, we want to take care of you either way. We want to make sure you have resources either way. You should be in the Facebook group so you can watch us take off. And by the first 3 or 4 days, you should already have multiple contracts. So you're getting a ton of value from that. But from there, we want to make sure you guys are following along and actually implementing the stuff that we're doing. And you have the same system to do it with us. So you have to be in the program. So
we have people flying in.
We have people flying in.
They're going to join us. They're going to do it. We're all live. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be chaos, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. What up, Facebook user?
I'm saying he wants to JV some leads.
Let's go, Juan. Let's JV, brother. Absolutely, happy to help. Simon, we can hop on the call. We'll do it tonight, man. Once we finish up here, happy to. So now we move on to the segment that you guys have all been waiting for. Every single week, we inaugurate the so-called.
We need to have like something that we mash right now. This like because like freaky or something.
Yeah,
and we shift into our freaky.
Well, maybe I do like the intro with just like the beginning of it, like this right here. So bam, now we had the freaky segment.
Let's go. We're doing it live. We're at this live, baby. Let's go.
So the freaky section of the week where we inaugurate the freakiest team member.
This is Lewis. What's up, Lewis?
Let's go, Lewis. Sorry, bro. This is where we talk about basically how to win the freak of the week. Terry, how do you do it?
So you just have to, be a grinder. You got to be fired up. You got to bring the most juice to the team in the week, and stuff like that. I think everybody in here's won at least once. I think, right?
I believe so.
Yep.
It's a pretty big honor, if I'm honest.
Right. Austin hadn't got it yet. I tried to give it to him for his shorts, but Terry ended up getting.
Honestly, I will say before we move on, the leaps, the amount of growth that I've seen Austin make, in the past month, is crazy. He is where we're sitting out there on the phone calls. He's sitting literally next to us 9 hours a day, learning how to make new videos, doing new shorts, doing YouTubes.
You guys are seeing the content on Instagram and YouTube.
Him.
That's Austin.
It's literally just him.
Yeah.
And the stuff
and
that
Maggie.
Yeah, and Maggie. And I just think it's really cool to see those guys really grind it.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I just want to give you a
shout out,
too.
Austin. But you're not the freak of the week. Just kidding.
Not yet.
Dang. But hey, you're for real, man. Been awesome to see. But this is where we kind of go around and we vote who we believe should be the team member of the week. You know, like we should do like we do like the freak of the week, and we should do something for the month, monster for the month.
Monster of the month.
Monster of the month.
I like that. I like that.
Got to keep it on theme, guys.
Gotta keep it on theme.
AJ says, "Great work, Austin." He's really liking the content. So let's go around. Let's start over here with Big Dog. Actually, let's wrap it over to you, Austin, and let's get your feedback first. Yeah, wrap it all the way, Austin. Who do
What
you?
am I supposed to say?
Uh,
I've
so-
never done this before.
Welcome, Austin,
so that's a microphone,
Yeah, thank
and
you.
what you do is you talk in it,
Oh, really?
and it gets recorded, and it goes out across the interwebs.
Uh-oh.
So
Words.
So who do you think should be our freak of the week?
It's a lot of pressure.
Who we got? Who we got? We should do drum roll. Yeah. So that we're taking our.
I
vote
give
here.
it to David.
David.
Yep.
All right. So Austin, tell me why. Why do you think
Just
David?
grinding, dude.
He's a grinder.
He's a grinder. Let's
He's
go.
just a grinder, dude.
Getting a lot of traction on Dispo.
Yeah. Okay. I
Done
like
a
it.
lot of work.
That's a good vote. That's one vote. One vote in the book. I
Thank
like
you,
it.
Austin.
Thank you. Go ahead and pan
Welcome
it over
to
to
the
Big
pod.
Dog. Get Big Dog in here.
Hey,
all right.
pan it over.
Yeah,
the
go ahead and
camera
get the
to-
camera over to them. Okay. All right, Big Dog, what we got?
Yeah, honestly, we're all freaks. We're all killing it out here. But if I'm gonna be honest,
Joe's been extraordinary. Honestly, I was
Literally,
talking
I
about
took-
that after lunch. I'm like, what's going on with Joe? Like the growth
Yeah, that's
is
what I told him.
crazy.
I took him under. I said, I'm proud of you. Proud of you, Joe.
I'm proud of you, Joe. Joe, who we got?
yeah, honestly, I'm gonna say the same thing too. David really, if you guys haven't understood or like done a dispo deal before, how hard
It's
is it?
crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like it's not selling a wholesale deal. It's nothing like that. You have to find a certain type of person.
He's done it before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike's done it.
The
And
fun
then-
part was acquiring it, right, Mike? And then they're like, oh no.
Yeah. yeah. And then also, he's been super happy because his fiance's
That's
in
true.
town. So,
Garrett.
Shout out.
so
Hey,
that's
Terry, hit that little pink
that's
button
super
down
cool,
there in the bottom
too.
right. I think that's like the heart thing. Yeah, that one in the that one. Yeah, that's it. You can't hardly hear it, you guys,
No,
but
I can't hear.
that's just David in love.
oh,
David in love. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
David.
Appreciate it.
There we go.
I'm gonna chalk another one up for David, but for a different reason.
Oh, okay.
Killing it on the dispo side,
Uh-huh.
definitely that's a given.
Uh-huh.
But he brought his fiance. She came in Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
She was like 3 hours off the plane, and he dragged her to a real estate event. straight from Singapore.
That is
So, yeah, not
free.
just, hey guys, this isn't a flight from like LA to Phoenix.
from
okay?
Singapore.
This is Singapore. From the other end of the world.
Commitment.
Impressive.
That is some freaky
Commitment.
stuff from David right
Commitment.
there.
The other end of the world. He brought her directly to the
Yes.
event, which she was amazing.
She was
Let's be
amazing.
honest.
Thanks.
She's very
Uh,
lovely.
David
you,
is
thank
batting out
you.
of his league. Let's be honest. with you. So good
I'll
for
argue
David.
with
Locking
that.
it
Come
in.
on.
Locking it in, dude. Good for you, David.
My vote's for David.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Love
I feel
it.
like that's
Love
a
it.
vote for
Love it.
Karis. More than for Colin.
Hey, it's
Karis.
a team. It's a team member. You,
Yeah.
It's teamwork here.
Yeah. It's all the same. Who we got, David? Who you voting for?
I'm gonna vote for Austin then after all that talk with his short farm.
Yeah.
Let's
He deserves
go.
a
Austin's
vote.
been getting a vote every week now. That's great. Love it. Now, you
Consistency.
finished second in voting. That's not bad.
Hey,
Hey,
you're making strides, Austin.
yeah, yeah.
I'm proud of you.
I love it. Love it.
Cool.
Cool. Now let's paint it back over here.
I was say you can just leave it there because it's about to be on David, but
Oh, is it? My vote is
Go for it.
7 votes. Remember? So
it was 5 last week. It was 3 the week before.
That's gonna be
It changes every week. Who's your vote, Matt?
no, I need you to go first.
No, who's your vote?
No, you got to go first. Everybody, we can agree. We want to hear Terry's vote because we all know the freaks every single week are you guys that coming in and watching us. So shout out to you guys. But Terry, who we got on the team?
I mean, honestly, everybody's just been grinding. Everybody's been fired up.
Terry's got a couple sayings, and that's the two. He's just a grinder, or she's just a grinder, and
And-
we're fired up.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot to get that saying.
Yep.
I just don't give that to everybody.
That's true.
But honestly, the whole entire team has been cranking it with Matt. You doing this, future stuff, and then we're just kind of scaling it out a little more, doing more
Mhm.
JV stuff. Everybody's been trying to catch up on leads, and the VA's have been
JV
crushing it.
deals.
But I will say, that finally getting some traction on that dispo side of the board
Woo!
is it's honestly it's tough, right? Because people don't understand if you never dispoed a deal before, it is challenging. Now don't let that make it where you think you're never going to be able to do it. It's just very challenging in the beginning. It's a lot of moving parts. It's getting signed on as authorized user. It's, signing on to the insurance. It's making sure this person's here and that person's there, and then finding somebody to buy the damn thing. And it's just a lot.
Yeah.
And I think
So like having support is important.
support is very important, and especially in the beginning until you figure it out and you get your feet wet with it. But David has got a lot of traction on that side of the board, and honestly, it has to happen because we're about to refill him.
Yeah.
He's about. David's like,
he finally gets his head out of the water and we're like, oh, get back down. More deals.
yeah, we're like, David's like, whoo, finally moving on this one. This one's going here. This one's going there. I'm like, David, see these 6 right here? They're about to go over there.
Yeah.
So, but no, honestly, David, we appreciate you. You do more than just dispo. Clearly, you keep up with my crazy behind on a lot of stuff. You do notes.
He's the heart.
Systems.
Yeah.
He's the glue guy.
He's the glue guy.
I mean, you wouldn't just, you know what? Not everybody just gets the DLQI, a whole lead quality index named after you. So, I mean, to that end, I think I got to put my vote in here. But I got to echo what everybody else is saying here.
And 3 of the deals he's closing are your deals. So you better be voting for him.
Shout out, David. Thank you. I got to get Christmas gifts. I got to go buy Christmas presents, David. No, but like, honestly, man, it's been a really good week because we've been doing some pretty cool stuff. Like the future proof stuff has been great. I think I spent over 35 hours this week on phone calls for everything that was booked, but you guys are still able to do what's necessary in the real estate business without, like, you guys basically run without me. Everything is being done. You don't need my perspective. I mean, from a day-to-day basis, you guys are probably like, what is Matt doing in there?
No. We're like, I need to get a hold of Matt.
So
I need him to get off that phone, and I need to send out these contracts.
So we have a token system, and but it's been great, man. I've been connecting with you guys all week. The past couple weeks have been amazing. I think in total, I've probably talked to already over 70 to 80 investors. So you guys are the real MVPs. It's been really cool to hear your story. Excited to share what we're doing with the Future Proof Investor. I hope you guys see more than anything, we're just real people and we're doing deals, and we're just happy to share that with everybody. There's enough out here for everyone. We're at the point now where, man, like, how many can we buy in a month? Can we buy 24 wraps in a month? Can we just at what point
better learn how?
We got to figure, and again, like, we're learning as we go here at scale. Like the system at 6 deals a month or 5 or 4 deals a month looks completely different than 20. Right.
Honestly, we're trying to get the 40 to 50 deals.
Right.
Constantly.
Well, we got to
a month. And
this $1 million challenge is what's going to push us there too. So
yeah, it's going to help us get to where we want to be for the scale wise.
Right. So from an honest place, like, we just want to share that with you guys.
We appreciate you.
Yeah. We won't like fluff the numbers. I won't lie to you. I won't be like, hey, everything's great and we're already selling 40 deals a month. No, that's not the case. Like, we're learning as we go. And I think that's a big piece of it. And we're just sharing what we're doing as we go. And like, to be honest, I have a partial vote. I got to vote David for sure, like everybody else here, but I also vote Terry because he has been picking up the phone and talking to so many of you guys on the JV front. Like, we have a lot of folks coming through that want our help to call agents, but you don't make excuses. You don't complain. You're not like, oh, I'm just so busy. You're like, hey, let's get on the phone. Let's just call them. Right. Let's just call this agent. And it's like, bro, like, in the middle of your day when you're in the middle of doing other deals or calling these guys as leads, you still make time for it. So shout out to you too.
Appreciate it
for making that happen. Because it is a big team effort. That's what I've been telling all the investors that I come through and I'm talking on the phone with. I couldn't do this on my own. Terry couldn't do this on his own. Joe couldn't do this on his own. Mike couldn't do this on that. David couldn't. Like, it was one big team effort, and we're always trying to grow the team too. So hopefully
we're going to scale this thing up. So if you're interested,
hopefully as we grow, like, we're attracting more A-team players in our world, and more people who want good things. So at the end of the day, like, we couldn't do it without everybody. But of course, that leaves the freak of the week to go to the one and only David Z. Let's give it up. Let's
hey,
go.
yo.
All right, a little speech here, David. Little speech. What we thinking? How we feeling for the week?
This necklace is very warm from you holding it the past 20 minutes.
There you go. Hey, that's
Uh,
just my heart.
Warming it up.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's exciting. Like Matt was saying, what we're trying to do and build out, we're learning how to scale, and we hit a lot of road bumps. But I think once when you find a really good group, those days don't really get you down. Those things don't really get you down. You can see what you're trying to build towards, right, and the potential that there is. And everybody's in good spirits. Everybody's fired up, as Terry says. So I'm just excited to be in this with you guys, grinding, and can't wait to help everybody else out as well.
Let's
It's a great
go.
speech.
Hey man, that was I'm teary-eyed. I'm teary-eyed. All right, so let's get some final thoughts, David. Heading into next week, what did you learn this week that you want to share with somebody that they should keep in mind?
For me, I think it's follow up. And so, like for Dispo Sides, I reached out to you, send out like an initial blast of people, and a lot of them say they're interested and they
Mhm.
don't really respond yet again. And so maybe a week later, I remember them and follow up, and we got a lot more traction again,
Yeah.
and they just forgot to respond. So it's really just follow up and always trying to think of who else you can contact. Do you
Mhm.
put another post on Facebook? Maybe not everybody in that group saw it. Do you reach out to title companies or other agents and see what connections they have?
Mhm.
It's just, I
It's
don't know.
music to my ears, Dave.
This whole thing
It's
is just,
music.
I'm so proud of you.
like what's fun about this is there's always a solution, right? You just have to figure out what the solution is. And so maybe that's why I like it, because in that way it's like engineering. There's a
Uh-huh.
problem, I can fix it. I just got to figure out how.
Yep.
Right.
And with deals, there's an ass for every seat, right? There's a buyer for every deal. We just got to go find them,
Mm.
So I love that. What we got, Mike?
Hmm.
Shout out Mike, by the way. After we get done with this, we're sending out his first contract with the team.
Woo, 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 woo. Let's go, Mike.
She had the same last name.
She did.
Did.
Had the same last name as
Same
his.
last name. That's how we connected.
She is a
yours?
firecracker.
Herrera?
Herrera.
How do you say that?
Herrera.
Okay. I didn't know if you threw a little extra bit on that one.
No. And she is not my mother, by the way.
Okay. Well, she has your mom's name?
No, she doesn't.
No,
Okay.
we made fun, we joked that, we joked that like for Mike to get a first deal with us, he went and got his mom to buy it.
Oh. Hey, just tell him. Just say yes.
Honestly, I guess it's kind of my perspective is more on the phone. So I think it's always kind of challenging yourself on the phones. With myself, I've kind of noticed every once in a while I kind of fall into
A lull.
not a
Maybe.
lull, but like repeating the same things. Obviously, you want to be consistent and sounding the same, but sometimes I like to challenge myself by throwing new, like little nuggets in there, new terms, see how that kind of reacts from a agent's point of view. So obviously, I like to also see what reacts differently with different personalities. So I'm getting a lot better picking up on different personalities. So once I hear certain lines out of them, I shift into something else. So they-
Next level.
yeah, so
Right there.
challenge yourself not to get too monotone with things. I know being on the phones every day, especially at the scale we're doing, gets a little.
It's easy to treat every conversation like after a certain point.
He
It's
was like,
easy to like kind of just tone out a little bit
Yeah.
and treat every conversation like, oh, here's another one. Here's another,
Get
whatever.
very scripty.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
Scripty.
so
Don't get scripty.
that also plays into the whole relationship thing. You got to build a personality with them, right? So
That's right.
that's my challenge to you guys.
Yes. I
Challenge
love that.
yourself. I think-
Challenge yourself.
I think what is it we talked about this at lunch? We're gonna throw in a little challenges for us in
Uh-huh.
January.
Yeah.
Throw in little words of the day, stuff like that.
Right.
Challenge yourself.
Challenge.
Razzle dazzle.
Razzle dazzle.
Super duper.
Super duper.
That would just be super duper. All right, what we got?
Yeah, this week was awesome. I think we're gonna have probably a couple deals under contract, like just probably tonight, and a couple more
weekend.
coming this weekend. So that's always exciting. I'm also excited that we went over what's a good lead for our JV partners. I think that's gonna bring a
So
lot
if
more.
you guys bring a lead
transaction.
to us, we're gonna say go watch Freaky Friday.
Yes. Yeah, because now we have something to do with these, so I'm excited for that. I think we have a lot of things close. That board is super full, so
Dude, I just see it as like our team eventually, like we're just like everybody you guys sit down and we're like freaking juggernauts at what we do. Like it's gonna be great to have like Terry, you, Mike, Kyle, you're watching, Dave, like everybody we're all like 10 out of 10 at what we do. And like that is going to be super duper powerful. So I'm excited for that. Terry, what you got?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a whirlwind, if I'm honest.
Okay.
Just trying to
Explain.
keep up with, of course, these guys have been absolutely crushing it this week. We had a lull last week. I told Joe, just give it time. Everything comes back around.
Yeah.
And that's how it's
Last week
kind of
was
been.
rough, right?
Yeah. Last week was just kind of, it was like we had a lot of things close and then it just kind of fell apart. The people wouldn't pick up the phones. It just felt like a weird, grindy week. And this week has been the complete opposite.
I
Like I
think
said.
Joe is on his way to something incredible.
Yeah.
Because he's stuck through it. He's had many deals get so close just to be like,
And he keeps showing back up.
yeah.
And getting better at the
Dude.
same time.
Right, you hearing this? You got yourself a keeper.
He's
bet.
a great dude. I love him.
Destined for greatness.
But I will say in general, just trying to not only keep up with these guys because these guys are crushing it, but also keep up with all the new JV partners. Trying to keep, want to make sure I perform properly for those guys.
Yeah,
just scaling everything up.
There's a lot. So with
It's a
that,
lot.
guys, we're hiring. So if you want to apply to join our team, you need to send me an email, mattbeard@startvirtual.com. You need to be in Phoenix. We can't hire virtual positions, but if you're trying to join a winning team, we just see that all the stuff that we're doing here internally, like managing JV partnerships, right? We don't want to just be like anyone else. You send us a lead, you don't hear from us.
No,
We want to be like a great experience of like, hey, we're going to work this deal together. You're going to learn a lot in the process.
If I'm working
You
with
know?
you and I talk to you and I give you my personal cell phone number, you're part of the fam now. So not only am I going to try to perform the best for you, but I hope you do the same for us as well. So,
Right.
it's definitely a good partnership when we kind of build these things out. In the beginning, it is some growing pains, like with anything. Like, hey, this probably isn't a deal, or hey, this is what I like to see in a lead, and I'm okay with working on all that kind of stuff with you as long as you're willing to, get a little better at it.
Just
and
just
try to
we're always trying to
improve for sure.
We're all trying to improve. So
Sure.
get some coaching, just make sure we're implementing, and that's it.
That's it.
So for me, guys, is keep showing up. I think something that I think is important every single day and every single week is swallowing the frog and having tough conversations, picking up the phone. Like if you know that something needs to be said or something needs to be done, even David, like you're probably one of the best that I've seen on the team of just like, hey, we need to go have a very tough conversation with a homeowner, or like we need to drop the price, or we need to renegotiate, or we need to do like you just pick it up and do it.
Don't
Right?
put it off.
That's
You
it.
just do it.
Yeah. So even
They
though the
lost
camera
camera.
just shut off, Austin's going to turn it off and turn it back on, because it got really hot because the content we have here is
Straight
absolutely fire,
flames.
right?
Because I spit
mean,
hot fire, man.
It's so fire, just like this. Just running it back. So here we come. We coming right back. Look at that. Bam, we're
Hey.
here. So yeah, at the end of the day, I think just having tough conversations, because that's what makes you a good business owner. And obviously swallowing the frog, you'll feel a lot better after getting it done. And then just keep showing up, right? Even when you're uncertain, or even if you don't know what to do, surround yourself with people who do, or at least is moving in a certain direction with that certainty. Talk to a lot of investors at our meetup, which another reason why David's a freak of the week. He helped organize that meetup, which went really well. It was freezing outside, but
I will say
the sliders
there was
were
about
great.
15 people
Who RSVP'd
who RSVP'd
and didn't show up.
did not show up.
They will not go named, but next time that happens. I'm just kidding. But anyways, guys, thank you everyone who did.
Yeah,
And
it
if
was
you
a lot of fun.
RSVP'd and couldn't make it, we get it, we understand. But make sure to be there next time. It was always a good time. The food was great. The venue was awesome. But
Very big venue.
yeah, but keep showing up. I would say, surround yourself with folks just like us. If you want to like replicate our model, if you want to do what we're doing internally, we should definitely connect. I think one reason why we're calling it future proof is because, yes, this model is crushing it, and this method right now is working really well. But I've been doing this for a while, right? And we're always tweaking the strategy. Like I said, we're always testing. We're always trying to figure out what works. A year ago, the strategies that we were implementing look completely different than what we're implementing now, right? And the strategy is always changing, but the framework stays the same. So if you want to implement the stuff, the time is now. Like we should not be waiting. We should be taking massive freaking action. Let's go. Scott, but we should be taking action, guys. And with that, like the reason why we're doing the $1 Million Month is because in January, we're showcasing the model. We're showing you guys exactly what we're doing and how we're going to get 50 contracts in a freaking month. But guess what? In April, we'll be doing a new challenge. And we're going to say, hey, guys, guess what? You know what we did in January to get 50 contracts? This is what we've been doing over the last 3 months. We made some tweaks. We made some changes. Here's a brand new challenge to show you guys the small tweaks and changes we made. And we do that every 3 months. And that's why we call it future proof, because I don't want you to be a part of our program and be doing this and a year from now it be irrelevant, right? That would really freaking suck. Every single quarter, we're making sure that you guys are staying ahead of the game. You're up to date on the best strategies that's going to help you make money in this market, not tomorrow's market or yesterday's market, today.
And we're pioneers. Everybody in this chat, everybody's doing this.
Yeah.
We're pioneering this stuff. You know, that's what I was talking a little bit in the meeting, just thinking about how many agents that we talk to on a day-to-day basis. They go, oh my God, I've never even done one of these, much less nobody in my agency's ever done any of this stuff. So we do a deal with these people, they're going to remember us forever. They're going to tell everybody about us. And they're going to do the same thing with you guys. We're pioneering something so completely different and so cool. The coolest part about it all is it works.
It works.
You know, I mean, that's
Dang, dropping a mic on that one. Coolest thing about it all is it works. So we love to have you guys in the community if you're not already. We love to have you in our network. The least you can do is join the real estate circle. I saw like 18 questions before getting started on this live today, and I got to go answer all of them. But our team is here to help. We're real people. You can send us a message. We'll promise we'll get back to you.
Yeah, we're just busy.
Thank you guys so much for watching this edition of Freaky Friday. We'll see you next time. Bye.